Hey, everybody, and welcome to the ECS Hangout. This is sponsored by Control Freaks at controlfreakcompany.com, and I'm your host, Primo. And I got down on the little right over here, the master of ECS Magazine, Reggie. Just to let you guys know, this is a place to hang out and discuss all things automotive. We stream every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want in on the chat, you let Reggie down there know, and we'll also love to hear from any kind of topic or ideas or anything like that you guys are interested in the community. And you can make sure you write those in the comments or put something up in the chat. So we're going to have the chat live as we go along. So we're happy to have everybody involved in it. So, and if you're available, we're going to be streaming on YouTube and Facebook. So don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that follow button or thumbs up, whatever's there. Hit the big old button. So first up tonight, I have over to my right, Sergio. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Good evening, guys. I'm Sergio. I'm from Ontario, Canada. I run the Ontario chapter of Swift Car Club. Been in the scene the Canadian scene for about 30 years. And I built a few custom cars. We're actually at a car show right now live.
Nice.
I just got to say goodnight to my little sweetheart, my goddaughter.
Nice. Hey.
Yeah. Sorry.
Bye, you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Bye, Mia. You're giving me a hug too, Anna. Bye.
Are you good, Sergio?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Oh, you're up next. Say hi to everybody and tell them about your website.
Hey, I'm Joel Chappell, and I'm from NewEnglandAutoshows.com. We have a massive list of car shows, and we go to car shows, take some pictures, put them up on the website as well.
Perfect. All right. And next up, we got right below me is going to be Juan. Introduce yourself and tell everybody what you're about.
Hey, I'm Juan Gavon. I go by Crazy Toy Skywalker. I've been being a car show promoter for 25 years, and I'm down in Houston.
Perfect. All right, and we had somebody else join. Did you want to say hi and tell us about yourself? Somebody else over there is pointing at his screen there. Does your mic work or?
This is Dino. I think he's having some issues with his phone. He don't realize it.
Dino's having issues. I guess. Yep, there you go. All right, well that makes sense. All right, Rodney. We'll come back to him, I guess, when we get those things fixed. So first up is we got a comment from Rodney. Rodney saying hello to everyone. Hello, Rodney. Good to see you tonight. Okay, so tonight's topic is a very exciting one. I've heard that it's kind of, I don't know, a little bit crazy out there, but we wanted to discuss both how to win a car show. And the beauty of it is we have at least two guys here that are people that actually judge shows, and then everybody else actually takes their cars to shows. Reggie, have you ever judged a car show before? Or is it?
Oh yeah,
plenty of them. So we're 3-3. I don't know, Dino. Did you get your mic fixed? Nope. He's still
nope.
Try. Yeah, you're still muted over there, Dino. Sorry, buddy. Nope, he's not there. So that's the thing is I wanted to go over some things about how to win a car show, and I'm just going to start over and just kind of and you can say it from your, give us some ideas. So these guys out here, they're going to go to a car show. I had a couple of guys come to car shows today and actually judge today, and there was a lot of little, I guess you want to say, easy mistakes that people make that they missed, and it prevented some people from actually winning. Like the guy that won first place versus won second place in a different class was off by like 2 or 3 points, and little bitty things that kind of hurt people overall, but these little things actually stack up. So Sergio, I want to start with you. If somebody looked at you and said, hey, I want to win a car show, what do you think would be the best things they do, or things that they've forgotten, or give them some stuff to help them?
Cleanliness is a big key. Wheel well cleanliness, wheel cleanliness, making sure your paint's on point or your wrap's on point, making sure there's no wires hanging out. I've seen that where I saw a beautiful install, but then like there's no loom or something silly like that, and you get subtracted points. We go by a 100-point system here at majority of these shows in Canada. We pretty much go, it's a standardized system pretty much across the board, 100 points to 150 points. Each area of the vehicle, you get points. So engine bay, interior, trunk, exterior, lighting, in-car entertainment, it's suspension, wheel fitment, wheel size. Does the wheel actually suit the car? Suit the car, stuff like that.
So yeah, one of the things that you were talking about there, that's something that I was seeing in some of the other shows that I've been involved with, is kind of the word of continuity. So when we used to have a lot of criticism back in the early Fast and Furious days that somebody go to Pet Boys, pick up everything in the aisle, throw it on the car, and even though they put everything on it, it didn't look very good. So that uniformity, does that play a key role in that judging kind of thing system that you guys have?
Yeah, I agree with that totally. Like I can, if you want me to go for an example right now, I can show you one of our elite vehicles from a friend club of mine right now.
Good.
For example,
yeah.
I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm going to scroll around to this vehicle here. For example, it's a Grand Prix. It would be in Pontiac class or GM other.
Go a little bit lower.
Okay, can you see now?
You go. Yeah, it's a lot better. Yeah.
You see the wheel fitment, brakes, everything's clean. You look at the paint, there's no flaws, no dirt, no dimples in the paint.
Yep.
The fitment of the body kit, the engine is dressed. Like stuff like this would hurt you in the long run if you don't take the time to do this kind of stuff.
Well, one thing I liked is they actually put so they have the engine bay is open. They have little trophies and other things in it that explain the car. They've got probably a little bit of history on it. So they're actually telling a story about this vehicle right there. So if a judge walks up to that, he doesn't have to guess. He doesn't need you there. He's literally just going to be able to read a lot of that stuff and figure it out, right?
As a judge, I love this. Yeah,
right. Exactly. The plaques. Yep.
But as a person who is not judged, don't you think that I personally, like, whenever I've been to a judged event where my Corvette's being judged, especially in a Corvette class, I make sure that I'm there while the judges are looking at my car in case they have any questions or anything like that. I think that's important to be like right there at the car during judging. Right. And is that wrong? I mean, for those who who are looking to win at a car show, is that like a good advice to make sure you're there at the car while it's being judged?
Actually, believe it or not, some judges prefer not to be bothered when they're judging. If they have questions, they'll actually go up to the person who owns the car, because there's certain things you can't pick up on. Like, for example, a lot of guys, I know there's a common thing that a lot of people are doing in cars nowadays, like Starry Nights, for example. This guy was smart. He put mirrors on his seat so you don't have to look at his ceiling to see he's got that mod. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, I'm not saying like, you're in the judge's face during it. You're just there and available if they need you.
In my opinion, yes. I honestly think the person who built the car should be there, because every car has a story. That Grand Prix I featured when I started painting the show here, that was a father-son build. Nice. The father passed on, and the son is still continuing the legacy on and showing the vehicle after his father passed.
Right. And that's the thing is from my side of judging, I'm a little bit torn. Like, I do like the people. So as a judge, it's okay for you to be there and give me input if I ask for it. But like,
right, yeah, don't insert. But
yeah. But Juan, how do you feel about that?
We do our judging. Our shows are usually 2-day shows. The judging starts when everybody leaves, because they're concentrated on the car itself. No distractions. That's just my opinion. Right. We judge overnight from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. And there's nobody there. You got the security guards are walking around. The judges are walking around. But each judge is focusing on their category, whether it's trucks, cars, motorcycles, or bicycles, and the lowriders. And we do it overnight. But back in the days we did have, do car shows that are one day. I haven't done one of those in a while, but our shows, we do them overnight. I just think it's a distraction. Yeah, I mean, because the car should speak for itself. If it has a story, they usually do a board. You know, the lowrider started with the board, and it tells you on there father, son. You know, just key details. You know, top 20 points that you want the judge to know about the story of the vehicle. Oh, this was in Cheech and Chong movie. This one was in this movie. Okay, that's good. You know, that's all good. But the car is going to speak for itself on points. Sergio's right. It's on point system. You know, we do points.
Right.
Now, we do have a category that's just a star at the end of the, if something that the judge has never seen before for unique. You know, sometimes, okay, you know what? This is a unique thing that we haven't seen before. You know, something crazy. So you do get extra points for that. But me, for the judging, I'd rather have them focus. Plus, it takes a lot more time if you're judging 500 cars on average on my shows, or 500 cars. It's tough to talk to every owner, because even if you talk to them for 15 minutes times 500 vehicles, you never finish judging.
Right.
So that's my opinion.
I do like that idea of being able, because you guys are doing it overnight. I've never really judged. I've been part of shows that were overnight shows, but I've never judged between overnight. And I think that's a really cool idea, because it really kind of leaves you there. Your brain is, you know what I mean? The only thing that I ever have, so we had one person one time that had a wide body Challenger. And that person had done the Challenger in such a clean way and such a good way that the people that were judging it actually didn't know it was wide body. How crazy is that? And that was, the thing is they ended up not giving him the trophy, and the guy came over. And I'm not going to name the show. I want to, because it's a big show. And the judge came over and said, if I had known that was wide body, I definitely would have, you guys would have won. But I'm going to read Dustin offered major mods win. Engine swaps, chop tops, substance extras, and every part touched and clean. You know, major mods are good if there's a way, if that show is actually taking those into account. Sometimes there's certain shows that certain mods and certain things that you do will actually take away from it. And I kind of wonder sometimes, because especially at tuner shows, there's some tuner shows where they say, you know, the more the merrier, kind of, you throw everything at it. But the thing is I think that if you're going to judge it, you have to judge it like Sergio was saying. It has to be a unified system. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just throw everything from the store and say, yep, we threw it on and it's on. It's great. It looks great. I've seen my friend lose to a car like that at a car show, and that's the way to take away the credibility from a car show. If people out there that go to a car show know what deserves to win, and if your car show doesn't give it to that person, or at least somebody close to that, people will they'll judge your show just as much as you were judging their car. Dino, did you get your mic working?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're perfect. All right. Yeah, what input do you have on this?
What? Because I was playing around with the mic, so because I like what everybody said. What was exactly like? What were we exactly talking about as far as like the judging? What was, because I couldn't hear before.
Oh, we've talked about everything.
But what was like the main question? Like, what were we answering?
Yeah, well, it really is. I would just present it to you right now. Is there anything that you think that at a car show that you see people miss most often that prevents them from winning a car show?
Well, sometimes, I mean, I've been on both ends as a competitor, and as a judge, and I go to a lot of like World of Wheels and Lowrider shows. I've noticed this with some of the smaller shows. Some people don't, like what you said, they miss the wide body. Yeah. They don't really know sometimes what they're looking at.
Right.
You know, a lot of shows I go to, they judge on like level of difficulty. How did you, you know, the level of difficulty to do a mod. So if you have somebody that just did, let's say, for example, you have a car that's a base coat, clear coat paint. Now that guy's going up against a guy that has candy paint.
Right.
It's, you know, the level of difficulty, it's a lot harder and it's more time consuming to spray candy. A lot of people don't, you know, I notice some shows don't take that into accountability. Also, what's important is the fit and finish. You could have, I'll give you an example, how you said some people throw everything in the kitchen sink.
Right.
Low riders, for example. I've seen those cars, some people say, are overdone.
Yeah.
But if you have a flow, like where it looks good and it flows, it works. You know, you can't throw everything in the kitchen sink and it doesn't flow.
Right.
You know, you look at like a lowrider paint job. A lowrider paint job is more intricate than a regular paint job. They use pearls, they use flakes, they use candies, they use leafing.
And it's not a wrap. It's not a wrap or a thing. It's real paint.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about lowriders,
Yeah.
I'll
make this easier.
I have nothing against wraps,
Right.
but at certain shows they mix wraps and paint together. I think that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is a wrap work to do? Yes, I can't wrap a car personally,
Right.
but paint is more as far as, you know, obviously you got to prep a car, primer it, a wrap you throw over the car. I guess it's, you know, a lot of judging I see, like, I guess a lot of it, from my opinion, I've seen some shows are opinionated. You know, they might not like what somebody did to the car, and I've watched very good cars at shows take nothing home.
Right.
Because people say, well, I don't like that they chopped the roof 4 inches. Well, it's, you know, it's not really what you like. It's what, you know. But as far as the car owners, you know, you have to know, you know, you have to put work into the car. You have to touch every part of the car. But what's most important is the fit and finish of it. If you have an engine swap, but you got wires hanging all over the place, you're losing points. I don't care that you have a twin turbo or, you know, your engine looks like, excuse my language, crap, you know?
Right.
Same thing with paint. If you're, make sure your paint is on point. Make sure you know, clean the trunk jams, clean everything. Right. And how you display your car can also, if you're not displaying the car properly, you can lose points very easy like that.
Right. And then here's the other thing, Dino. We got we got the comment up here. Nothing, just show what you got. F a trophy. And you know what? I understand that if your trophies are not your thing and you just want to show off your car, by all means. But you know what? I think if I'm going to come to a car show and my car looks like crap and it's falling apart and nothing's done right on it, I think that's something that I want to worry about. I want somebody to be able to give me input. I'm not going to come to a car show without something. You know what I mean? I'm not coming. You got to show something off. If you know what I mean. If not, why don't I park?
I'll disagree with that a little bit because I think it depends on the type of car show. Because there's certainly like in certain Concours events there is a like barn find class where, you know, it's like,
but that's a barn find class.
Right, I mean, and that's fine. Okay. But I don't want to like blanket say you can't show up with a car like, you know, that's like like a
that's fine. But he doesn't want a class. He doesn't want any trophy. Right. He's just going to show.
I think that's cool.
So you know what, and that's great, bro. So, but we were going back to that rap thing. I really like the idea of coming to the show, and there's a great place for wraps, especially like with some of the patina stuff out there that they do. People don't want to do certain rust things to their car, and the wraps and some of that stuff, it gives them options to do different things. But
wrap, in my opinion, for some people, listen, I tell anybody I tell at a car show when they say to me, because you know everybody's pockets is different. All of us here in this chat, our pockets and everybody's pockets is different.
Right.
My biggest thing I tell people, I said, do what your pockets could afford, where your money took you. You know, just do it right. You know, some people can't afford. You know, you got guys that put. You know, you got. I've seen cars at like he just said, like Concours shows or Autorama shows. They have $1.2 million in a car. You're not going to compete with a $50,000 car. You understand?
But you know what? I want to be able to have a car show where somebody has a flat black Nova. That's their drag car that has a full cage on it. Thing's got a blower sticking out the size of North Carolina, just popped out of the top of the thing. I want that guy to have a chance to win. You know what I'm saying?
But he does have a chance to win, guys. If he's got the points there, he's got engine. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, guys.
I think he does because I think it's going to depend on like what class he's in too. Because you know, he might not necessarily be in like the full modified class or
there's miles and miles.
His truck. So
Primo, real quick, Primo. Yeah, that guy could win, and like we're talking about, hey, how do you win a car show?
Right.
Well, the first step, I think, this is my opinion, is you know what? Let me call this car show because they're different. I go all over the country, Chicago.
I love that. Yeah.
Portland, Vegas. I'm in San Diego. They're all different. My first time I'm going to call that show promoter. Hey, can you see me how you judge a car?
Yep.
And what categories you're going to have? And then I know where I need get my tactics done, get my plan ready. That's how you're going to win a car show because if I take my lowrider to a truck show in the middle of nowhere, in a field,
Right.
you know, they don't even have a class for me. I'm probably not gonna win.
Right.
But I take my Kodiak to a truck show. I got my sheet. If somebody asks me for a judge sheet, I send it to them. There's no
Right.
secret how we judge cars. And
Right.
after the show, they have hey, I want to contest it. Okay, no, here's your sheet. This is who won. This first, second, and third. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's judgment and what the judge feels and thinks at the end of the day. But we're gonna be able to explain it to that person. And I fully agree on contesting. Hey, I got second place. Okay,
Yeah.
why did you get it? Because I want to do better next time.
Right.
So when you say how to win a car show, I'm gonna find out what show I'm going to, and if that Nova Primer, if there's a class for that car, okay, send me your score sheet, and I'm gonna place in that category.
Yeah. I think that is the best idea of it, and that's something I wrote a long time ago too. Was I said, if you're going to think about the car show, your import car may not work at the concourse. Your import car may not work at the domestic meet or the lowrider meet. It's got its place, and if you want to go there and win a trophy, great. If you want to do a meet and it's just an open meet and everybody's there, yeah, go show that thing off. You know, get input. You know, but those places that you prep to get there beforehand, if you really are interested in winning something, those little steps mean so much. So go ahead.
I got one. When you said a car like, you know, like a domestic car, the lowrider show, I've seen in Vegas they had a Honda there that was lowrider style that won pretty big.
See?
You know,
Yep, I remember that.
Oh, I know who you're talking about too. Is it a green one?
Yes.
Yeah, I know the one.
Yep.
My friend actually built that car.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people all the time. It also, what I've noticed, for instance, like I have a radical Ford Focus now.
Oh yeah, you do.
At the older shows, I've noticed with them, if it's not like a street rod or a hot rod or like a classic, then it better look like it could fly. I've actually done better at those shows than I have where they had shows for my class, because some of those shows were, well, we don't really understand. It's not really the car anymore. So, you know, certain things, but like I tell everybody, go to the shows too, and like people that are, you know, competing or whatever, study the cars, like see what they do. Even if it's $1 million car, you could take something off that car, an idea, and twist it and make it your own to build your car. Nice. You know, to get back in the day, I used to ask Lowrider magazine when they used to come to Jersey. I used to ask them for the score sheet at the end to see where I could improve. Like,
I love that. Yep.
My paint was a 7. That's why I couldn't beat that guy. What do I have to do to get my paint to a 10? You know, okay, my engine is hurt, or I don't have any engine mods. All right, let me see what he did, and now I have to go. And it was friendly competition. It wasn't, you know, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter, because at the end of the day, it's all about having fun.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, you all should be able to learn off each other, and, you know, you bounce ideas off each other. That's why I love going to shows, just to see, you know, the cars and get ideas and say, wow, you know what? I could do that. You know, I may not have $1 million pocket, but I could do something and make it my own on my own car. That's
I think it's amazing. I took one time, I went to a car show and I told somebody, I said, I'm going to win. And I went to a lot. I borrowed a lot car from a dealership that had basically the nice upgrade, so it looked right. I fixed some certain things on it and then made sure it was spick and span clean. I knew which car show I wanted to bring it to. I bring it to that car show, and I almost won with it. There was an argument at the end. It was an import show, so at the time, this was back in the Fast and Furious days, so somebody at the last minute came in with everything from Pep Boys at it, and I ended up losing the show, and there was a couple of judges that actually quit because I didn't win. And I just think that's funny, because people don't realize how little you have to do to actually win a car show if you know what you're doing. So Sergio, I'm going to have a mission for you. I want you to go through the show and find out what car. I want to see what you would judge as the best car in that show, if you can.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I put them on the spot.
I can't.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you my opinion on this.
Yeah.
I have multiple favorite cars in this show. There's
How many?
Jeep. Oh, there's a Jeep. There's a Jeep Dually here that was a frame off Goliath. He's here. Yeah. There is so many builds that I could put for best in show in this show.
Got it.
That's why I like the point
Give
system.
me your top.
If you have, well, I have my top four.
Okay, I'll take the top four. You got to show it to me though. I want to see a picture. I want the top four Sergios.
They just kicked us out of the building.
Oh, look, they ruined it. Sorry. So my next question, I'm going to read this from Vinny real quick, and I'm going to have a good question here. There are other classes. Show with a lowrider class will styles probably have best paint or best interior. So you have different classes for best paint, best interior. There's all different judging things that go into a show. So that's one thing about doing a little bit of research on the show. Find out what they're actually going for. So somebody might actually have best wrap, and if you have the best wrap out there, go compete for it. Maybe you can get a trophy out of it. So my thing isn't, this is something that comes up all the time. And I say it, I think it's a good way of doing it. But a lot of people do have an argument with me and say it may be good. It may be bad. Wow. I don't know what's going on back there, Sergio. Stop flashing people.
It's the after party, brother. This is
Right.
where the fun begins, where all the car clubs get together and go out and have drinks.
Well, that was my question. So do you guys feel that a car club benefits your show off, or can a car club hold you back?
Coming back from being an independent in the scene many, many years ago, I couldn't win a single trophy. It didn't matter how many mods or how clean my car was. Back in the day, there was a show called North of the Border Bash. It was run by Costly Obsession. I noticed a trend. Unless you were part of a major club, you didn't win nothing. So I got a little fed up, so I started a car club, Street Impressions Car Club. Then I moved up the chain to Nocturnal. We had a little falling out. Well, Dino knows the story. And then I went to Swift. Right. I'm finding depending on the different clubs vibe differently. Easiest way to describe it. But I had more fun as an independent, believe it or not, than I did because when you're not labeled, people are not afraid to come up to you and ask you, hey, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of this idea? I noticed that clubs try to keep their secrets to themselves. Like, oh, how did you do that? Oh, I don't want to, man, you mean I can't tell you that. You mean? Yeah. But it's starting to open up. I hate to say it. COVID was a bad thing, but in a way it was a good thing because clubs are giving away their secrets now. They're sharing with each other. They're growing. First time I've ever had people come up to me and say, hey, we don't have any photos of each other. We've been doing this shit for years, and we've never taken photos of all of us together. It's always of the cars. We never take any photos of us. So we took some family photos today of all of us. You know what I mean? That's what it should be about, the fun of the events. Now, if you're after the trophy, in my opinion, it's a waste of time. It should be about the memories. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, Joel, what do you think? Car clubs or no?
I think I've witnessed at certain events that they're the car clubs actually have influence because some of the judges are part of that car club. So then there's a bias, and it's not all the time, but I mean, it's something that happens. I think that's more prevalent. Like I've seen that happen specifically at like Corvette shows that I'm involved with. If you're not part of that club, they're not necessarily going to look at your car as well. I still got a trophy there, but but I kind of noticed a little bit, some bias that was kind of going on. But I think for lowriders and what I've seen in as an outsider looking in, because I'm not really in that scene, I think it's a benefit because I think you can definitely get the idea basis and start sharing.
Hi, brother.
Sharing like information and take your car to that next level.
I think it's just it can be as simple as just access to parts, access to painters.
I think it's more access to ideas more than it is parts. I mean, don't get me wrong.
That's fine too.
Yeah, you're definitely going to get parts, and somebody's going to have that extra chair somewhere, kind of thing, for your that extra seat that you've been looking for, or that kind of thing. But I think it's the interchange of ideas and then improving and having that inside scoop or inside brotherhood of like-minded individuals, kind of thing. I think that's
I'll tell you one little thing. the people that push me, like I hate to say this, family that builds together stays together, because I
Right.
have a few individuals in my club that push me to the next level and have me build crazy shit. But sometimes I want to pull my hair out. Today I had an issue with one of the vehicles. I couldn't get it to stay charging during the event. And I that really sort of wrecked my day, but it was a positive thing. It's a learning curve, right?
Right. Juan, what do you got? You think the clubs are the way to go, or do you think solo is the way to go?
You know, I'm a little. I think my point of view is, I've been in a car club for 25 years. I've been in Crazy Toys Car Club for 25 years. But as you can see, I'm wearing a Rollers Only T-shirt.
Right.
I have a T-shirt from Individuals. I have a T-shirt from Majestics. I think one of my goals is, whether it's solo riders or whether it's car clubs, I'm trying to literally unify these people, because I can go to Vegas and I get invited to almost half the barbecues, whether it's Majestics, Individuals, Rollers Only, High Class, Swift, Nocturnal. I know the Nocturnal guys down here. I hang out with them. So to me, since I travel all over the country, it's a little bit different for me, because these are different people and they know that I'm trying to unify, because I'm a promoter. But I've been in the same car club with my brothers and my cousins for 25 years, yet I don't have that pride and ego that I can't wear somebody else's shirt if they make me an honorary member or if they invite me to different things. So I like both, because I honestly, the solo riders, I give them a lot of credit, because I think they trial and error, like you said, nobody's there ready to help them, and they're on their own, and they did it on their own. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how to win a show and there's nobody to help you, it's hard for one person to do things by themselves. I'm just saying, I could never do it by myself. I've never tried it, but it seems like it'd be harder. Whether, like they always say, 2 minds are better than one. Well, when you have a club of 20 minds, right, and the same goal is like, I'm gonna help you win in that class. I'm gonna help you win in that class. Right. Oh, you got a truck. Because in my car club, Kratos, we have Jaguars, we have Lexus, we have Mercedes, we have Elbows. We have Swangers down here in Houston. So we have clubs that are slabs. So that's a whole different category. They don't compete with anybody else. They have their own shows. And when you say slab, it's just a whole different everything. But anyways, so I'm on the fence, but I have been a car club member for 25 years, the same club. Right. But I don't have that ego and that pride. Like, oh, I can't help that guy out. No, I'm driving to Las Vegas and I'll see another car out there. No matter what kind it is, I'm going to pull over. Hey, you need a jack. You need a flashlight. That's just me. And it's tough, but I that's what I'm striving for. So I'm kind of, both.
Perfect. Dino, what do you got? No, his mic's off again.
Dino, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we got to fix Dino's mic, man. He has all his good input, and then his mic dies. Oh, it's killing me. No luck.
Okay, guys, but I'm gonna call it a night. We're going. The family's all going for dinner.
Okay.
I heard
the ladies over there. I know where you're going.
Yeah, it's just actually, as you can see, we're all going for dinner.
Nice. Good to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, you have a good one, and we'll talk to you hopefully next week, right?
Thanks for the invite again, and appreciate I can put some input on the show.
Yeah, happy to have you, buddy.
Have a great night, guys.
You too. All right, Reggie, what do you think? What do I need to do to win a car show?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do to win a car show, but the most honest way is build a vehicle the way you want, and you go out to a show and I'll tell you what, I'll make it short. There's one thing I do miss, and there's a lot of shows on the East Coast that don't do it, is displays. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I do miss a lot of nice, really thought out displays.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I granted a lot of outdoor shows, don't want to do it and everything else, but that's it. That was another key pointer. Judges. I'm not going to sit here put everything on the cars, but judges need to know what they're judging.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you're a judge and you only grew up messing around and tinkering with lowriders, you can't go out there and judge imports or JDM cars. If you grew up with muscle cars, you can't go out there and judge lowriders and be an expert at it, because those genres and the vehicles are totally different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
See, I love all things, but I'm gonna tell you what, I'm more of a lowrider and a mini truck person. You put me as a judge in front of a JDM car or exotic cars, Alan or Primo. I'm gonna tell you right now, I wouldn't know what to do.
Right.
Take me to a custom van show. I won't even be able to tell you how to take the engine cover off.
And I think you're right there when it comes to shows that are maybe they have too many options. And I've seen a lot of that recently. Like we like the whole meat idea. And like you said, we do it because we love it. But then you'll get to a car show and you have this thing about it's like we have a class for everything. And I go, if you have a class for everything, something's going to lose because you can't, I don't know every car. So, go Joe.
As the guy who goes and covers like car shows,
mm-hmm.
I get very frustrated with the car shows that have like 100+ classes and trophies to give out, because it literally turns into like from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you're sitting there waiting for all of these trophies to go out, and it's just, and it becomes crazy, and I can't tell you, like, you know, as I'm sitting there with my camera and I'm literally listening to the crowd start to get belligerent about the fact that they're waiting to figure out if they're winning in whatever class that they think they're, you know, that they're in, and it just sometimes just gets crazy. And like I think if you're doing 100 classes, you need to rethink your show, because you're probably you're not getting, I don't think you're going to get the return of people.
I think there is a way to do it, but and that's the thing is some of the times I critique pretty hard. I think there's a way to do it right. If you have, because there's shows out there. We did one, I think, at Connecticut, and it had, I want to say it was like 4,000 cars. And I was like, I don't know how they're going to do this, but they had people that they said, we're going to have one for each kind of class that knows what they're doing or is doing with, and they actually handled it really well. But that's the thing is if you don't handle it well, and I think Reggie was saying this, I mean, he nailed it on the head, was that not every show has good judges. So you got to make sure that sometimes you have to say, hey, maybe the judge didn't do something right. Or like Juan was saying, I want to go up to the judge and I want to ask him, what did I not do right? And you know what I mean? If I did something wrong here, critique me, help me to learn to do the next best thing. And the thing is it's not just with winning trophies either. Like when I'm out there doing something in the car show scene, there's going to be people, especially these new kids, will come up, they'll bring a new idea, they'll do something different. Man, one of the things that we talked about here was uniqueness. That's danger. That's bringing something into a scene. Those guys that are bringing electric cars into the car shows right now, I know they're afraid to do it because they're scared of what people are going to say when they bring that car in. At the show today, we had 2 or 3 e-hybrid Mustangs. And I know that they were looking over going, they didn't bring their cars to the show. They didn't bring it for a trophy. There was no electric class. They knew that, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's always going to be this thing about everybody says new, but how do we judge new? There's a part when you know what I mean? So we need to be able to give people input in a productive way, I guess. But yeah, like you said, if it's not judged right and people, maybe if your show has too much stuff in it and you're not paying attention to all those classes, it may not be the person that's attending that has the problem. It may be something with the show. And the other thing is if you guys out there have a show that you're going to and you have a complaint about it, everybody likes to bash shows and say, shows suck. This is the worst show ever, blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. Give the people, these guys, I judged, I want to say hundreds of cars today. I lost count. Okay. When I go back and look at the stuff, I'm going to look at that and go like, wow, I easily saw 1,600 cars today or more, and then had to walk it twice just to get to the end. And the Shelby GT350 that was immaculate one, somebody said, oh, that one? Come on. Okay. Tell me what we didn't do right. Give these guys some input and have it be productive. Don't just sit there and bomb a show just because
or constructive. It needs to be constructive.
It didn't make the choices that you would make. Sometimes, as a judge, I know I'm right, and the person that's out there that said my stock saline that was just rebadged as a saline and has a stock engine in it from a 4.6 and blah blah blah. I should have won that show. No, you shouldn't win that show. You just
first of all, let me go on record saying that if you're that guy at a car show,
right?
Leave that kind of behavior to Kanye. Okay, he he's the guy that can
we all
start.
got it. We all
right?
got it.
Don't be that guy. At a car show where.
So I'm going to read this.
Let the judges abide.
Creep CC won best group display at World of Wheels every year we were there, and we never repeated a display idea. And the funny thing is I've seen the Creeps display, and every time I see that at World of Wheels, I always comment of how awesome it was. When we were filming, we always went over and made sure we filmed their display because they really know how. It's so funny because they almost have a corner on the market for both hot rod and unique. They can they know how to nail it. And that's the thing is one thing that we talk about here when it comes to doing uniqueness of how is that thin line. And it's the thing is like I said, that's why I go back to these club ideas. Cause it's like every time I get them, I go to somebody and I go, I see you mastered it. Teach me, you know what I mean? And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So Juan, you look like you're chomping at the bit there. What do you got for me?
Oh, no, I'm listening because there's the same conversation I have with my guys and other club members and other club presidents from around the country. No, I'm just listening because you're making a lot of valid points, and it does sound like a broken record because you have that one guy that complains about every single show, no matter what, and their car it's not up to par. That's it. Mm-hmm. And then that's the guy that says, "Oh, I don't even care about a trophy." I'm like, "Why are you up here then?"
Right.
So maybe care about a trophy yet.
Well, I mean, I think there's people who go to a car show that are there to see the cars. Right. I'm that guy. I mean, like I'm not really there to win anything.
So.
Right.
Yeah. So, but no, maybe that's part of the idea of winning is having the right attitude. I mean, that's it. That's the reality is you come into this show and you have to look at it from the standpoint of going like, why did I do this car? Did I do it to race? If I'm bringing it to a car show, I think I'm bringing it to show, right? I mean, even if I'm not cruising around or doing whatever, and if you went to a meet, then maybe you made your car to meet other car people. It all makes sense. I logic, maybe I'm wrong about this. Somebody tell me if I'm, but that's the thing is no matter what we do, that presentation is so important. So of all the people here, of all your favorite cars, because I think that comes into play here, what was your favorite car and why? I'm going to start with you, Dino, if you got your mic. Go ahead.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Go ahead.
All right. One of my favorite cars in all the years of doing this was a car I just got a chance to see recently in person in Vegas was Double Trouble Lowrider. I thought the way that car was presented, the way he displayed it, the way all the work was done, the finish, the paint, the murals, the story behind the car. The reason for the name of the car was because, he has 2 kids, and also he brings another car to the show as well. But just the whole presentation of it, I mean, it's one of those cars like most cars. I tell people you have to see it in person.
Yeah.
And the guy, what's crazy, I've noticed, not to get off, on topic, but what I've noticed, what I love about the lowrider guys compared to hot rod guys, once they do a car, like as everybody here has heard of the Riddler Award, right?
No.
Okay, the Riddler, that's like the Detroit Autorama, like the Autorama World of Wheels show tour. Detroit, that's like the best car in the world. That's their Super Bowl.
Right.
And then you have the lowriders, which do the lowrider of the year and all of that. But it's funny, once the hot rod guys do a car, the car stays like that forever.
There you go.
Yep, there it is.
This car is like, just look at that. That is insane. That looks so beautiful.
He lives down the street from my house. He's here in Texas.
Yeah, Corpus. Oh, he's down there, right?
Corpus, yeah, in Corpus, yeah, down in a couple hours away. But yeah, I'm headed. I'll see the. I'm going to his car show next June.
All right. Yeah,
Hey, real quick, everybody, I gotta head out. I gotta go have dinner with the family too. But
oh
anyway,
my gosh, you leaving too?
Oh yeah. I've been married 20 years. I know better. It's dinner time. I got the signal already from over there. Look.
Uh-oh.
For the peanut gallery.
Did she? If she did the finger, you got to go, buddy.
Yeah. 20 years married. I kind of like her, so I think I'm gonna stick with her.
I like that. Yeah.
Hey, y'all have a good evening, everybody. Hey,
you too,
thanks
brother.
for inviting me, Reggie.
Appreciate you having you on, buddy.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
So to continue what I was saying,
Yep.
what I like with what I've noticed with the lowrider community is they'll do it like you see Double Trouble. That's I think the second or third time they redid that car.
Yeah.
You know, so those guys have a lot of passion where the car, you look at it and they'll tell you, yeah, I'm going to take the car apart again, you know, in a couple of months, you know, to go to this show. And you're like, what? The car is so damn perfect. You don't, you know, but I would say that's probably one of the best cars I've had the chance to see in person. Was that car was just mind blowing to see what they did to a 57 Chevy, you know, and again, it's not for everybody.
No, right. Mm-hmm.
You know, some people, they, I noticed after, like on the internet, I read comments like, oh, well, why did they twin turbo the car? Why did they're not going to race the car. But again, it's for a car show, it's for points. They knew what to build. He knew what to build to get all the points in every area to make it, you know, the car of the year.
Right.
You know, I know they're not going to race the car. You know, you know they're not going to race the car. But I think, you know, too, like people get that part confused. You know, you go to a car show. To me, the cars are, you know, a lot of the cars are works of art.
Right.
So I don't really care what they do with the car. If they trailer it, drive it, it doesn't matter. I just like to see the fact. You know, I like the fact of, wow, how did they do that?
Right.
You know, that's just, you know, me. But again, everybody's different.
And I agree with you on the lowrider stuff. It's really tough, and I've told a lot of people, like I said, if I've had people that were actually trophy hunters, and a lot of people say, you know what, I'd rather be a trophy hunter than I guess be on IG and looking for millions of people to just like everything that I do. And I don't know, I get more of a kick out of seeing those guys put in the work than it does for anything else. So yeah, that's the thing is I always look at them and I say these lowrider guys, the lowrider cars, the mini trucks, those two groups. No, what's that, Reggie?
No, I'm telling her to stop. She messing with the camera.
Yeah. No, but with the mini trucks and with the lowriders, those guys, you look at the meticulous paint they have, the presentations that they make, they don't spare the horses. And that's the thing is you can see there. If you go to even general events like World of Wheels or anything like that, you're going to see these cars. And the thing is no matter what I may hate the car, but I still got to appreciate it because it's just, you know what I mean? Like if you go to the racetrack and you see a car do a 9-second run down the strip, I don't care if it's an Integra or a Bugatti. You look at that car and you go, wow, good job, man. Like that was driver, that was car. It all has to work together to make those numbers work. And you have to appreciate it. I think the same thing goes into craftsmanship of doing a car show.
100%. I always tell people all the time, you know, you may, you know, a lot of people you know what it is? People, I think, look at it too where, oh, well, I wouldn't do that. You can't look at it as what you would do. Like, you got to look at it as, like you said, I may not care for the color. Let's just say, you know, somebody painted their car pink. I wouldn't do that to that car if it was mine, but I'm not looking at it as what I would do. I look at it as, you know, okay, even when you're judging, that's what you have to do. You know, when you judge, that's you know, sometimes some shows, that's the problem. They look at it how, you know, well, I wouldn't do that to the car, and they judge you based off of that.
Right.
You can't judge on that. But, you know, the lowrider guys, like the Riddler winter cars, that's, you know, those are the best cars in my opinion. I love those shows. The mini truck shows, I love going to them. You know,
I'm gonna look up the Riddler because he was talking about the Riddler, and now I'm like, I gotta look. I'm looking that up later. So yeah,
look up. Just I'll give you a car to look up. Look up the 2022 Riddler winner Showbird. The car's a number
22 Lindler.
No, Riddler, R-I-D.
Oh, the Riddler. Yes. That's the one he's talking about. That's the one I wanted to look up. Yeah.
Put 2022. You have to see the car that won. It's amazing, the car. What they did, the craftsmanship is unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a couple in here. So I think this is it right here. It's the red one, right?
Yeah, it's got twin turbos coming through the front bumper.
That's crazy. Look at this thing. That thing is right out of a Hot Wheels. Like, that's just, I got to get a picture of that later. It's going to be tough because a lot of times you have the videos, so it's like you can't pull the picture off. But I'm going to move over because we're getting into that last 10 minutes, and I always forget to give Joel his little attention. And so, yeah, Joel.
I can put that Riddler up if you want. But.
Oh, good. Yeah, I see how it works. You can do that while you're talking. But pull up the Riddler. And then while it's tell me what your favorite car is.
My favorite car, and actually while I still have this up, it's actually not a car. It's actually a Jeep.
No.
It's actually.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I thought you were saying that car was a Jeep. I was like, that's not a Jeep.
No. that was the 2022 Riddler Award.
Right, yeah.
Skittles. I got to say that there's a lot of stuff about that Jeep that are very, very subtle, and a lot of time is spent on it. Like the shocks are actually painted rainbow. The drive shafts actually have Skittles logos on it. She's actually thought about doing like a contest for the kids where go around and count the actual Skittles logos that are like scattered throughout the car. They're in the wheel wells. They're inside the car on the dashboard, and there's a lot of meticulousness about this Jeep, and it's really done with the love of the Jeep, and it's also a machine that actually it's not just a what we jokingly call in the Jeep community a parking lot Jeep. It actually goes out and runs in the mud. It actually, it's got the scars on it still, kind of thing. And I think, I'm all for the cleanliness is godliness kind of thing, but I also kind of respect vehicles that are still survivors and or like driven. Right. They're not just cars that are strictly made for the car show, and don't get me wrong, I love those cars too, but there's this respect level that I have for machines that actually do what they're designed to do.
Well, that, you know what, then we'll get a little bit off topic with this, but I think it's a good question. And I like the idea of a car. And I've had so many. Remember, I got a lot of years of experience when it comes to car shows, so I'm a little bit like I've seen both sides of it. When we first started, we didn't actually drive into a car show. We had the Model A, and so that was the thing is it was trucked in.
Yeah,
it had 10 miles on it. He wasn't putting any more miles on it. It got trucked everywhere we went. You rolled it off the truck to do the car show, rolled it back on the truck and left. And that was very common back then. But today it seems like everybody has a lot more respect for a car that shows up to a show and is driven in. Yeah. Even if it is like, everybody if in our area knows about the big yellow Mustang that has a lot of ties to the World of Wheels stuff. And I've noticed he just, so yeah, exactly. You got it. Yeah, Rick's car. And that's the thing is he drives that to a show. I love when I see him roll up with that with plates and everything on it. And the thing is I think and everybody chime in a little bit here. Like, do you have a lot more respect when somebody drives in a crazy car like that?
Oh, hell yeah. I think it's awesome, especially, Rick's car is a prime example. I know Rick. He actually, something happened to that car. I think he's redoing it or something. Something happened driving it. Yeah, there's a respect to that because you also want the car to be functional too.
Right.
That's a big thing with the World of Wheels too. Is the car has to be functional. But yeah, I that's awesome to see people drive those, especially those wild looking cars. That's crazy. You see them, like. Even after the Vegas Lowrider show, a lot of them guys were driving them cars on the strip. They were cruising, bouncing, and you just saw these cars on turntables in the show, and you're like, damn, they're driving those things on the street. So yeah, I agree with that.
Right.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. No, that was the thing is Reggie, do you have a preference or?
I prefer, honestly, I prefer, I've always have been more of a drive-in kind of thing. More trailer queen. I'm not, there's no disrespect to trailer queens, but I like a lot of most all my photographers. They all drive their vehicles to the shows.
Right.
I don't think I can name one of our photographers that even trailer a car to a show. I mean,
And
Bobby.
I've seen some of those cars too. It's amazing that they drive those to the show.
Like Dino's car himself, Dino's car right there, the one he's got. I mean, people get blown away. He don't even have a roof on his car.
Right. That's awesome. Well, that's a video over here said, look up S&S 406, built by Rolling Bones, my absolute favorite car. And I just looked it up and yeah, there he goes. Look at that.
Is that it?
I think that's it. Yeah, that's the one it looks like. But yeah, look at that. That is just simplicity with just out there. Look, man, it's just so crazy. And that was where we were talking about that unique feel to it. That car, it's got, if it stands out, and like we were saying before, if it stands out and you can look at that car and say, even though I hate that car, I have to appreciate it. I think that at the end of the day, that is where you kind of nail the head and the hammer. But a lot of people there, and that's the thing is, let's be honest, a lot of us don't have endless pockets of money, or we just don't have the drive or the time to put our stuff into things. But that's the thing. And people keep saying, no, we don't worry about trophies and this kind of thing. Yeah, I'm all about having fun. But that's the thing is I still think there's a place for that competition of being able to say, you know what, let's look our best. You know what I mean? Let's do everything it takes to win a show and be pristine. And those cars that are winning are the ones that end up in different areas where people pay attention to them. They like they were talking about my friend from Custom Creations, his Integra Mercedes, the green car, the doors come up and they turn around. And that was the thing is I saw that car back when it was built.
Oh,
and I'm still seeing it today. It's so crazy. Notice how everybody still from East Coast to West Coast all knows that car.
Let me ask you a question. Who owns that car? Because Manny owned it for a while.
Manny bought it from him, and I thought Manny still had it, but he may have sold it. I think he sold it for something else though. Yeah. So, but you'd have to ask him.
Yeah, he sold the car. That I talked to Manny. Manny sold. Yeah. Manny and my car that car and my car kind of look similar in a way.
Okay.
Because he don't have a roof either. But Manny's a good dude. I saw that car. I think I saw that car when they first built it. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. It was at the Frank Moretta car show a couple of years ago in Connecticut.
Yeah, it's been to so many car shows, I've lost count. Like I've literally seen it back, even when it was before with Matt's car and then being Manny's car, the circle that it made, it was literally everywhere. And a lot of people didn't like, I think there was a show that Manny had it in that was like with 6 other cars. Like it was just the craziest display ever. And I was just like, I'm still to this day, it doesn't matter how much it is. It, like you were saying, it's an Integra with all the stuff done to it. There's nothing that isn't done to that. Yep. There's no place it couldn't compete at and probably win a trophy. But that car was
unique. That car was, I like that era because at that time there was a lot of the cars like that. That's how I based my build off of. I still like the TVs and make it unique, the crazy paint. But man, you brought back some memories.
I know, right?
When they showed up to Englishtown with that car, I think, wow, that was a long time ago.
All right. Well, that's the thing is we're coming up on the 1 hour mark, and I want to make sure the algorithm doesn't kill us at the end of the day. So my final words for everybody out there. You know what? Some of you don't want to go for a trophy. If you don't want to go for a trophy, that's okay. If you do want to go for the trophy, if you do want to go for that challenge, I don't want you to be afraid of it. I want you to put in the effort that it takes. It actually takes very little if you do it right. Work smart as much as you work hard to be able to win something. But remember when you take it to the show to have the right attitude. Don't take it personal if you don't win. Don't blame the judges. Own those times that you didn't win, and then say, how do I improve? And what you'll find out is that the same way you improve your car is the same way you improve yourself. Reggie, you got any final words for tonight?
You already did it.
All right, perfect, buddy. Thank you guys for coming out to the ECS Hangout, sponsored by Control Freak. It's Control Freak Company. Again, this is Primo. Below me is the awesome, as always, Master at Arms Reggie of ECS Magazine. And I also want to thank Joel Chappell of NewEnglandAutoShows.com, Sergio of Swift Car Club, Juan, if the car show guy that had to leave a little bit early, Dino down there for giving his input. Remember, every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're here to talk automotive. It is open. It's a hangout. It's all about cars. If you want to hang out, you want to talk, maybe you want to put something in the comments, or maybe you want to just get on the board. Talk to Reggie, talk to us. We'll be happy to have you. You guys, thanks for having a great night. We'll see you next week.
Take care.